Hello. This presentation is to give you a high-level look at the types of payroll information being tracked for the employee within Serenacate CM for Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2013. It's important to remember that Serenacate CM is the only fully integrated payroll and HR solution for Microsoft Dynamics NAV. A more comprehensive look into these features can be scheduled with your Dynamics NAV partner. I do recommend, if you have not already, that you watch the recording on Serenacate CM and Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2013 to see some of the features, flexibility, and customization options that you have within this environment. So I'm starting off within the Role Center, and this is the first screen that anyone sees whenever they get into Dynamics NAV. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the Employees area, and we can see a listing of all of our employees. So I can actually have access to information directly from this screen by either going into my Navigate button or by using my Fast tabs. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to double-click and see the information directly into this area. So I'm not going to go into any detail in regards to the specific fields within the area, but suffice to say we do have a General tab which keeps track of general information. We've got your Communication tab which keeps track of how you communicate with your employees. We've got your Personal tab which shows you all the personal information about your employee, as well as the Administration tab. Something to note, we've got the race, marital status, gender, and EEO job class here, so we definitely do have the EEO reporting directly out of the box for the payroll. I want to talk a little bit in regards to the codes that you're seeing within the system. This is a Dynamics NAV fully integrated payroll system. So all of these features and functionalities have the same things as Dynamics NAV. So 90% of the codes found within the system are 100% user-definable and unlimited. If you needed to add a code and use it immediately, I can simply click on New and then enter in whatever the new code is and start using it right away. So there are certain areas that do not have user-defined codes, and those are areas that usually within the system the coding is hard-coded. So we can see that through the EEO job class because it's attached to the reporting. We've got that hard coding reporting in there. And then we also have a payroll tab. Another item of note within the payroll tab, we do have the ability of having multiple employers being ran out of the same payroll. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on Advanced within here. And one of the nice things about Serenic is the ability of being able to get access to the information directly from the screens that you're in. So directly from the employee card, I've got now access to my employer card, and which for each employer can have their different contacts for W-2s and EEOs. As well, I'm just going to go into the reporting authorities here. We can also have different identification numbers for each of the different employers. So a reporting authority code is simply a code attached to a third party in which payments need to be made to, so such as your taxes, benefit plans, any kind of deductions that you have that need to get paid to a third party. And another thing is, because we are fully integrated with Dynamics NAV, I also have an integration directly to the purchases and payables vendor list in order to be able to directly access my vendor list and attach my vendor to my reporting authority. And what this does is allows me at the end of a payroll process to send over all of my liabilities, so all of the payments that need to be made to those third parties. It sends it over and sets it up in purchases and payables directly for me. There's also a report that I can print out as backup to that setting up of those purchases and payables. So it really alleviates a lot of data entry, which also alleviates any kind of data entry errors. So that's nice to note. We do have every single pay cycle code under the sun, including the ability of being able to make customized pay cycles. So there's a lot of information that's being kept track of within this screen. I'm going to go through some of the other information that's payroll related, and I'm only going to go on to it on a high level. So within the pay controls, and we've got a little bit of terminology here, but a pay control simply is any kind of earning, benefit, deduction, hour, accrual, statistic, anything and everything that can be calculated and or stored in the payroll during the payroll process. So pay controls are attached to the employees so that the system knows which pay controls should be attached to the employees or calculated for those employees on a payroll run. This is an extremely flexible methodology of being able to track what calculations need to happen to an employee, as well as we've got one of the strongest payroll calculation engines around, where we, as long as the calculation can be logically defined and we're storing and capturing the information required to do that calculation, we can automate that for you. And we've automated a lot of different types of calculations for organizations already, saving them a lot of time. So the payroll controls are very flexible and very easy to utilize. One of the most important things when you're talking about attaching different types of rates or different types of benefits to employees is the effective dating. We do have effective dating throughout the system, so we have it within the pay structures. The pay structures is a method of being able to attach a rate to a grid type system. This used to be utilized a lot in unionized environments, but there's a lot of private industry starting to get into the pay grid details and the pay structure, so we do have this available along with all the complexities that come around with utilizing a grid. So your pay structures have that ability, your rates have that ability, and these are employee-specific rates, so we've got effective dating through here. And what that effective dating does, it allows you to be able to keep track of what's happened in the past, what's happening presently, and if you know that something's going to be happening in the future, you can put that new rate in here with that effective date, and it's going to stay dormant in the system until that effective date becomes available, as well as effective dating on tax authority information and effective dating on other authority information. So the difference between other authority and rates is a rate has a user-specific, an employee-specific rate, whereas the other authority information can have what we call a filing status. So rather than putting in a rate for a specific rate in the payroll details, we can have rates behind, one rate stored behind family, married, and single with effective dating. So now we are allowing the employee to select the actual status that's aligned with that employee. So it's a very nice and efficient method of being able to keep track of the different rates and doing the effective dating. We also have effective dating within the position details, and the position details allows you to keep track of all the different positions that the employee has been through with the start dates, the ending dates, and certain variable information that are assigned to that position. So now you get a history of all of the information for that employee. Remember, this is a high-level overview. So I'm going to go into entries, and we're going to go and take a look at payroll check ledger entries. So I have the ability of being able to view and preview and or print any of the payrolls that the employee has gotten paid throughout the system. So for this example, this is the example of a pay that Annette got on December 31st, 2008. As you can notice, she had her pay deposited into a checking account. We can deposit into more than one checking account or direct deposit account, and or we can also do checks. So it's up to your organization, depending upon how many direct deposit accounts you want to deposit into, and or if the employee is going to be able to get a check as well. Also, the check is definable in regards to what types of payroll controls can be showing up on this stub. So each organization can make the determination of if a pay control is going to be showing up on the pay stub and what information will show up. So the balance plus the year to date, what's happening on this check, all of this information can show up on the check, and it's dependent upon what each organization decides. The last thing that I want to show you is the ledger entries. The ledger entries is the information that is posted to payroll at when you post the payroll journal. So you do all your calculations of the payroll and you post that information. All of the information from that payroll calculation is posted as the last calculation that was done for that payroll. So it's all posted in 100% detail. I'm just going to do a right click and do a choose columns here to show you the type of information that we may have details residing behind. Once again, you have the ability of putting the columns in the order that you want to, adding or removing columns, showing or hiding them, and putting them in the order that you want to so that you can get as much information out of here as you want to. And remember, you also have the ability of being able to filter on this screen or do multiple filters. And when you're doing multiple filters, you have a lot of columns and a lot of information to be able to filter from in order to be able to get the information that you want to. And maybe first and foremost, you also have the ability of sending it over to Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, or as an HTML attachment through email. And so just to give you an idea on how this filtering works, I'm going to say I want to filter on the payroll control code, and I only want to see this employee's net pay. So I put in net, and then this is my net pay for this employee. For all of the times, I can put in a filter for the different dates. I can put in filters for whatever I want to in order to be able to see whatever I want to see. Remember, this information is stored in 100% detail, so you can always summarize the information. So I hope you liked what you saw today. Once again, this is a very high-level overview of payroll-specific information on the employee card. If you would like to be able to see a little bit more detail, if you have more questions, you can schedule something with your Dynamics NAV partner. Thank you so much.